Hey babes, welcome back. What it do? How you doing? I'm so glad you're here. So today we are talking about how I do my photo shoots and editing processes, and I'm gonna try to keep it short so that y'all's attention span doesn't. So yeah, let's get started. When it comes to photo shoots, I take all of my pictures by myself. I have obviously had pictures taken of me, but like my general stuff that I post is selfies, right? And so it can be very difficult to make your selfie game look kind of not like a selfie game, you know what I'm saying? Like make them look like they're professionally taken. So here are my tips on how I achieve that. The first thing I want to talk about are my tools. I use my Canon M50, which is kind of expensive. Just gonna put that out there, but this camera is so well-rounded, I guess is the best way to talk about it. I use it to film, I use it to take pictures, it links directly to my phone. It's a really, really good camera, so if you're looking for a camera, I would recommend this one. I really like it. I obviously use my iPhone as well sometimes for pictures, and in my editing stage, I'll show you how I take iPhone quality pictures, which are pretty good, up to camera quality pictures. I use the UBeesize tripod 5. I'm looking at it, it's holding my camera right now. I also have my newer Ringlight, and I think this is in the 18 inches. I'll have to double check. I'll link all of this down below. We call her Janice, so you'll probably hear me calling her Janice. Anyway. And yeah, I think that's all I really use, especially on a regular basis, and generally, like, really that's all I use. So let's move on to the prep. This is gonna be super short because I have lots of other videos on styling and makeup and all that kind of stuff that you can go check out at another time if you want to, but I just wanted to add a few things and say that for my makeup on photo shoot days, I do go heavier with the contour and heavier with the eyes because those are some areas that tend to get washed out. Also your eyebrows, depending on what you use to do your eyebrows, they also can get washed out. So like kind of just redefine all of your facial features more than you normally would, especially if you're using a ring light, because the ring lights tend to make everything nice and smooth, which is great, but then it also washes out some things. So the next step in having a good photo shoot session is finding your set with something of interest. Perhaps, maybe your outfit or your makeup is already your point of interest, so that makes it good to have like a more blank background or a less intricate background. Whereas if you're just trying to take a generally nice photograph of everything, you kind of need a more intricate background. Does that make sense? It kind of just depends on what vibe you're going for, but also like feel free to be creative with it. I have done photo shoots I've even done a photo shoot on my toilet. So like, you can feel free to be creative with this and just like work with whatever spaces that you have available to you. Just try to balance out yourself and the background, basically. Next, let's talk about lighting. You have a lot of cool things that you can do with lighting, but so if your goal is a shot that you're not really paying attention really to the lighting, like you want more focus on the makeup, on the background, on your face in general, on whatever's going on that's important for your shoot and you don't want to worry about lighting, I always suggest doing straight on or almost straight on lighting from either a window that's well lit, or if you have a ring light, use your ring light. You can also use both. But if you're like me and you live in basically a cave, like I'm sitting in front of bay windows, like a giant thing of windows in front of me, and I still have to have Janice on. Like if I didn't have Janice on, this is where we would be. It is the middle of the day, and if I didn't have Janice on, I would be in the dark. So because of that, Janice is really, really important to me for my shoots. If you don't have the money, or if you just don't want to invest in a ring light like Janice, what I also suggest is uncovered light bulbs. So if you have a lamp that has a lampshade on it, just take the lampshade off. This just like obviously intensifies the light and then also helps you be able to maneuver it more easily. But basically, all I'm trying to say is Janice is not necessary. She's obviously helpful and all that, but you can get really, really cool and really, really interesting images with just your uncovered light bulbs or your windows. So don't let seemingly bad lighting be your downfall. Now I want to talk about shooting. So this is like the actual process of taking the images. You can attach your camera to whatever you have. I have attached my camera to so many different things. It's literally ridiculous. You just have to be creative. If you happen to have a tripod, that's great. But with the UBeesize tripod, you can really put your camera anywhere and it will be totally fine. When shooting, I generally go for taking images at least 3 or 4 different angles, and really not anything more than that. That's kind of all you need for like a selfie image. If you're trying to do a whole photo set, maybe you might need more, but make sure you try to take pictures at all of those angles because it'll give you an easier time whenever you're trying to pick your favorite. I have frequently done an entire photo shoot from one angle. I didn't move my camera, and when I went back to look at the pictures, they were literally, because of the angle, just absolute garbage. And I didn't realize because of the distance, y'all know I'm blind, because what you're looking at while you're shooting is not really always the same as what you see whenever you look back on it. So try to use a couple different angles. You don't need 27 angles. I really wouldn't do more than 4. Just because that's gonna waste your time a little bit. Like, you don't need that many. You will need a lot of angles to figure out your favorites, but that's kind of just like a first or second photo shoot type thing that you'll figure out. You'll find which ones you don't like and which ones you do. For taking my pictures, I use the 10-second countdown because this gives you a chance to like settle into the pose while it's counting down, so that's helpful. Or if I'm shooting on my phone, I use one of these Bluetooth clickers. I've seen lots of people recommend the just shoot a video and do all your poses while the video is rolling, but what I have figured out that kind of happens whenever I do that is, one, I waste so much time scrolling through the video to try to figure out where the right pose is. The pictures do not come out very clear, like crispy. And then also maybe I'll strike a really good pose but won't realize it, and then I can't get it in the video. Like, I can't get it basically. So I personally don't do the video taking screenshots method because of those reasons. When it comes to posing, the most important thing is to, on the front end, try out so many poses. Like, even things that make you feel stupid or uncomfortable, just try them out, and don't even think about it, what it might look like while you're taking the pictures. Just kind of get your body moving. This allows you to go back and like really find some new poses that you might have never thought of, but really work with either your body or your mental state or whatever, because it's very, very easy to stick to one pose, and we always take pictures from this one pose at this one angle with this one face. It's me, I do that, it's me. And that's kind of a very difficult thing to break because we feel so comfortable and we feel like we always look our cutest if we're at that angle. And I totally get it, like I so get it. But if you're trying to broaden your horizons, we have to break past that, you know what I'm saying? If you need help figuring out how to pose, my best suggestion is going to Pinterest, look up whatever type of poses that you want. You can look up couples poses, you can look up that kind of poses, you can look up any sort of genre of poses. My dad is calling me. Hello, Father.
Hey, listen, I think we're about 5 minutes from your house.
Yep, love you, bye. And set up a mood board on Pinterest. That's really, really super helpful because there are so many things out there now, and if you have a mood board, you can kind of use it while you're taking your pictures and look at the poses, do your pose, all that kind of stuff. So that will help broaden your horizons on what type of poses maybe fit your body type, maybe fit your aesthetic, whatever. And that's pretty much it for like my photo shoots, my tips for that. It's really not as difficult. It's more threatening to take a photo shoot than it actually is. And it's kind of really just simple once you boil it down to those things that you have to do. Your tools, your prep, your set, your lighting, and your actual what you do while you're shooting. Those are kind of the main things that you have to worry about. And once you take care of all 5 of those things, then there's really nothing else you have to do. All right, so when it comes to editing, I really genuinely only use 2 apps, and one of them I've just added recently. The first app that I've been using for a very long time now is PicsArt, which I think is really popular, and the other one is Remini, which is kind of my like secret sauce, so just saying. Anyway, first I'm going to talk about PicsArt, and I just want to mention that I only use the free version. You don't have to pay for anything. It can seem kind of overwhelming because there's so many options and things that you can do with PicsArt, but I'm gonna break it down into my base level type things that I do. First, I go to Beautify and the blemish fix and the face fix function, and manually fix any blemishes, any marks that I have that are unseemly, you know what I'm saying? If I have to use the face fix function, I try to tone it down as much as possible. That way you don't come out looking too smooth almost. It can really wash out all of your stuff and make you look a little bit over edited. Also, I will use the reshape function if I'm having a weird hair situation, if anytime I need anything kind of moved or shifted. The next thing is to go to the tools function. And here, my most probably noticeable thing that I do is I adjust the brightness and then only apply the brightening to my eyes. This just adds more shine to your eyes, and it kind of just makes you look more wow, basically. In the crop section, it literally gives you an Instagram portrait sized crop. So that's really nice so that you're not surprised by what gets cropped out of your images when you take them to Instagram. You can also use the perspective tool. Maybe you had an awkward angle, but the picture's good, so you can kind of just fix the angle a little bit. And I also use clone whenever I need to fix my background. When it comes to effects, my absolute all-time favorite, I use this on almost all of my images, is the film, just the regular film filter. And I typically push it almost all the way off, and then the top bar majorly to the left and the middle bar just slightly to the right. Now this could change depending on what your lighting situation is, but that's generally what I do every time. And I usually build most of my other filters if I use them on top of my film filter edits. The other ones that I use are Icy 4 to add cool tones, Burns 2 for the warm tones. That's basically it. My goal whenever I'm trying to edit is to not over edit, so I kind of just keep it simple with those baseline filters. Obviously, there are times when over editing is fun and cool and and creative and adds to the picture. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about general selfies. You can obviously over edit and edit however you want, but that's how I do most of my images. And as for my life-saving ultimate hack, I use Remini. And so what Remini does is enhance the overall image quality of your pictures by 1,000%. I'm not even kidding. The first time I used it, I nearly threw up at how amazing this thing is. This app is. So you only get 5 images for free per day, otherwise you have to pay for it, but we don't pay for anything. And typically I don't need more than 5 images in a given day when it comes to selfies especially, and really easy to use. All you have to do is select your image and wait for an ad to play basically, because that's how you get them for free, and then it just does your image. And it's really crazy and really, really useful. I typically use it after I do my PicsArt edits, because it kind of just smooths everything together and makes it look like I didn't edit it at all. It kind of just brings the whole image together and rounds it back out to look as if that's just how you took that picture. One tip is that if you have any harsh lines, so for example for me, these lines never go away just because I just have forehead wrinkles, okay? I just have them. And so if you notice in a picture something like that, make sure you use Face Fix. This is a time when you really actually use Face Fix on PicsArt and make them completely disappear, because sometimes Remini will pick up those lines and super amplify them to where it looks like you have black lines across your face whenever you actually don't. It'll be the most random things that Remini will pick up. So that's just a random tip for you. So basically that's all I do to get the images that I get. If you like the way that my pictures turn out, then if you follow all of these steps, you should get something pretty close. The last thing that I have to say about it is when it comes to photography, practice and continuation really gets you comfortable in front of the camera, which is the one major thing that will take your images to the next level, is building your confidence in front of the camera and building your comfort in that area. That's all I have for this video. I hope that it was super helpful. I can't wait to see your images. Like, tag me in them or something, because I want to know if this is actually helpful or if the way that I edit pictures is just absolutely ridiculous and not helpful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, babes.